The year was 1832. America was a young nation barely finding its feet. Andrew Jackson, the hero of New Orleans, was president.
I am a man of the people, a frontiersman who distrusts the elite and their institutions.
One such institution stood in his crosshairs, the Second Bank of the United States. The bank, chartered in 1816, was the nation's central financial power. It held the government's deposits, regulated credit, and issued banknotes.
To me, the bank represents everything wrong with the system-concentrated power, special interests, and the potential for corruption. It favors the wealthy at the expense of the common man.
Leading the bank was Nicholas Biddle, a brilliant but arrogant financier. Biddle saw the bank as essential to national stability and economic growth.
I believe in a strong central bank that can guide the nation's finances.
Jackson disagreed. He favored a decentralized system with hard money, gold and silver, over the bank's paper currency. The stage was set for a showdown. Jackson, the populist hero, against Biddle, the financial titan. The nation watched, the air thick with anticipation. A storm was brewing, a clash of ideologies that would shake the young republic to its core. The battle lines were drawn. Jackson, ever the shrewd politician, made the bank's recharter a central issue in the 1832 election. His opponent, Henry Clay, supported the bank.
I know the bank is unpopular with many voters, but it is necessary for economic stability.
The campaign was fierce. Jackson, the master of emotional appeals, painted the bank as a monster, a hydra-headed beast that preyed on the weak.
I am used to the quiet corridors of power. This kind of public brawl is not my arena.
He underestimated Jackson's resolve and the depth of popular resentment towards the bank. Jackson won a resounding victory. He saw it as a mandate from the people to destroy the bank.
I will not be denied.
He withdrew government deposits from the bank and placed them in state-chartered banks, his so-called pet banks. Biddle fought back, desperately trying to shore up the bank's position. He called in loans, restricted credit, and even attempted to manipulate the economy to force Jackson's hand. Henry Clay, ever the pragmatist, saw the danger in Jackson's crusade. He knew that destroying the bank could have disastrous consequences for the economy. He also knew that Jackson, emboldened by his victory, would be difficult to stop. But Clay, a master of legislative maneuvering, had a plan.
I persuaded Biddle to apply for an early recharter of the bank.
Clay's strategy was twofold. First, he hoped to force Jackson to show his hand before the next presidential election. Second, he believed that if Jackson vetoed the recharter, it would hurt him politically. The bank, for all its flaws, was still popular with many influential Americans.
Jackson, as expected, vetoed the recharter.
But Clay's plan backfired. Jackson, in a move of political genius, turned the veto into a populist rallying cry.
This is a victory for the common man against the forces of privilege and corruption.
The people cheered.
Section 4. The People's Champion, Jackson's Triumph, and its Price. Jackson had won the battle, but the war was far from over. He continued his assault on the bank, determined to dismantle it completely. He issued the Specie Circular in 1836, requiring that all public lands be purchased with gold or silver.
This move, intended to curb speculation and stabilize the economy, had the opposite effect. It drained specie from the economy, causing a contraction of credit and a sharp decline in economic activity. The Panic of 1837, as it came to be known, was a disaster. Banks failed, businesses collapsed, and unemployment soared. The nation was plunged into a deep recession.
Jackson, ever stubborn, refused to acknowledge his role in the crisis. He blamed it on the bank and its supporters, accusing them of sabotage.
Section 5 Aftermath, the long shadow of the bank war. The bank war was over. The Second Bank of the United States, its charter expired, was no more. Jackson had achieved his goal, but at what cost? The nation was in economic turmoil. The dream of a stable, centralized banking system lay in ruins. Jackson's legacy is a complex one. He was a champion of the common man, a fearless leader who stood up to the powerful. But he was also a flawed figure, stubborn, vindictive, and prone to rash decisions. His war on the bank, while driven by sincere beliefs, had unintended and disastrous consequences. It left a legacy of economic instability and distrust in centralized banking that would haunt the nation for decades to come. The bank war was a pivotal moment in American history. It shaped the nation's financial system, its political landscape, and its understanding of the role of government in the economy. It was a stark reminder that even the best intentions, when pursued with too much zeal, can have unintended and tragic consequences.